Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into what is honestly one of the most unbelievable rags to riches sports stories I've seen in a long time. We're talking about the absolute meteoric rise of Kranti Goud, a 22-year-old fast bowler from rural India who literally just rewrote cricket history. It's a story of sheer grit, raw talent, and, as you'll see, unimaginable family sacrifice.
Picture this. Less than a decade ago, you got a young girl practicing barefoot on the dusty, unforgiving grounds of Gawara, a tiny village in rural Bundelkhand. But flash forward to 2026, her reality has completely transformed. We're talking about having her name permanently engraved on the polished, highly prestigious walls of the home of cricket. So, how on earth did she bridge that seemingly impossible gap? Let's get into it.
Part 1. History at the Mecca. So get this, it has been 142 years since men first played a test match at this iconic venue. 142 years. And in the very first women's test match hosted at the home of cricket, this 22-year-old from Madhya Pradesh just completely etched her name into the history books with an incredible display of raw pace and swing. She is officially the first woman ever to claim a 5-wicket haul at Lord's.
I mean, she put on an absolute clinic against the English batting lineup. She started day one by trapping the retiring Tammy Beaumont. Then she totally caught Maya Bouchier off guard with this crazy extra bounce. But for me, the highlight was uprooting Alice Capsey's off stump right after setting her up perfectly with swinging deliveries. She netted 2 quick wickets in just 13 balls for exactly 5 runs, eventually taking out the captain, Nat Siver-Brunt, and then Lauren Bell. A total masterclass, no other way to say it.
And she didn't just make history in a vacuum, right? She delivered this maiden fifer in front of a record-breaking crowd of 15,243 fans. To really put that into perspective, this massive turnout happened in London on the exact same day as the Wimbledon ladies singles final. The spotlight literally could not have been brighter. And she didn't even blink.
Part 2. Barefoot in Gawara.
Now, let's rewind a bit because the timeline of her struggle really begins to spiral back in 2012. Her father, Moona Singh, was a police constable, but during election duty, he was suddenly dismissed from his service. The family was instantly forced out of their official residence and into a rented home. Kranti was the youngest of 6 siblings, and practically overnight, they were plunged into severe poverty. It was a chaotic, incredibly stressful environment to grow up in, let alone harbor dreams of becoming an international athlete.
And you know, the sacrifices her family made? They're just staggering. Her mother, Neelam, actually sold her own personal jewelry just so Kranti could have her very first cricket kit. Her eldest brother, Mayank, had to drop completely out of school to go work in construction just to keep the family afloat. This wasn't a family that had the resources to casually fund a sporting hobby. They were betting their actual livelihood on her talent.
Part 3. Mentors and the Turning Point.
Her brother Mayank really grounds us in what their reality was like. He said, "We were in a lot of trouble. There were days we didn't have proper meals. People mocked us for letting Kranti pursue cricket, but somehow we held on." Just think about that for a second. Enduring actual physical hunger while facing societal mockery for letting a young girl pursue a cricket dream. Yet somehow they held on. Their resilience is absolutely the foundation of her entire career.
But that incredible resilience paid off when she showed up at the Sai Cricket Academy in Chhatarpur back in 2017. That's where she met coach Rajiv Biltar. He saw a girl in worn-out clothes and regular shoes whose family had absolutely nothing, but instead of turning her away, he took her in. He didn't charge her a single rupee in fees, he gave her a uniform, he gave her gear, and most importantly, he gave her a real opportunity.
Coach Bilbao even went into his own pocket to buy her a pair of proper cricket spikes. The exact cost was 1,600 rupees. Now, for a family struggling just to buy food, that was an astronomical sum. Kranti later recalled that receiving those shoes felt like an absolute dream.
From there, her raw talent was spotted at age 17 during open trials in Indore by Chandrakant Pandit, a massive figure in Indian domestic cricket. He praised her smooth action and that distinct fire in her belly. But the journey wasn't a straight line to the top. A couple of years ago, severe back injuries nearly forced her to quit bowling entirely. It was actually Pandit who scolded her, pushing her through the mental and physical blocks to get back to the crease.
Part 4. The UP Warriors Breakthrough.
So remember those 1,600 rupee shoes that felt like a dream? Well, flash forward to the Women's Premier League auction. The UP Warriors drafted her for 10 lakh rupees. That's a cool 1 million.
The scouts saw her raw potential and her super sharp bouncer even before she had played a senior T20 match. Talk about a massive payoff.
The Women's Premier League effectively served as a complete rocket ship for her career. I mean, we're talking about going from being a net bowler for the Mumbai Indians to getting drafted for 10 lakh to suddenly making her India one-day international debut where she took a staggering 6 wickets in just her 4th match. And if that wasn't enough, she went to the World Cup, took 9 wickets across the tournament, and won Player of the Match against Pakistan. Unbelievable.
Part 5. The revolution just begun.
Now, Kranti's journey has really come full circle. The young girl who was once forced to drop out of school in Class 8 because of crushing poverty is today securing a major international sponsorship deal with Puma. And with this newfound financial security, her very first goal is to finally buy a proper house for her family, replacing that rented home they were forced into over a decade ago.
But her vision extends way beyond just helping her own family. She's explicitly said, "It's time for me to give back to society. I want girls at our academy to play without worrying about money." She wants to make absolutely sure that no other aspiring cricketer ever has to rely on their mother selling jewelry to play the game. She is actively dismantling the very financial barriers she had to climb over.
Kranti Goud has conquered lords, she's secured her family's future, and she's actively funding the next generation of players at her academy. She didn't just change her own life, she is bringing a full-on revolution to Indian women's cricket. So the question we leave you with today is this: how many more barefoot dreamers in rural villages will her incredible journey inspire? Keep an eye on her, because this revolution has only just begun. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope you found her story as fascinating and inspiring as I did.